I'm Nirmal. I run WP Creative. We're a WordPress agency helping marketing teams who is in the growth phase to get most out of their website and execute faster. And happy to be chatting today on online prosperity. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another exciting episode of the online show. I'm your host, Prosper Taruvinga, and I'm going to be guiding you into the heart of digital transformation. This is the show where you get exclusive insights and practical solutions, because when guests come here, we dive deep into real world challenges that they solve and the methods that make a difference. Now, today, you're in for a treat. We've got our guest coming all the way from Sydney, Nirmal. How are you doing, my man?
Good. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, if I just say Sydney, there's a whole journey before Sydney that came through, and we're going to be hearing all about that. But I just wanted to sort of preface and get people to know that, this was just a destination, not the actual journey in and of itself. So thank you so much for taking us up on coming on to the show today. And for those that are meeting Nirmal for the very first time, he is the founder of WP Creative, a marketing-minded WordPress development agency that's based in Sydney. And you might be wondering, why Nirmal? Why should we care? Well, this man moved from Nepal to Sydney with nothing but a laptop and a bag full of hopes and dreams. And guess what he has built here? An agency that is now serving some of Australia's biggest brands and helping marketing teams move faster, execute better, and actually turn their websites into a real growth engine. So he is the man behind quite a lot of the most successful websites that you might have experienced or come across. So if you ever come across a website that is doing well, find out if Nirmal has not put in some of his Himalayan salt in the creation of
I love that.
All right, so get
Himalayan
ready,
style.
because I think this episode we're going to explore obviously the messy, the inspiring journey from, guess what, floppy disks to growth engines, and also whatever clunky websites he has come across and what he has created and the marketing superstar he has become. I can't wait to jump into this. Now, Nirmal, I could go on and talk about things that I might actually not be qualified about. Tell us about your journey. You started off
That
in Nepal. Did you ever think that one day Sydney would be your home?
Thank you. That was a really cool intro. And I love the Himalayan salt and maybe Mount Everest kind of flavor as well. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, look, I didn't think about coming to Australia when I was in Nepal. I was learning. I was hungry to, learn internet. I was exploring. I was a very curious kid. I started as a designer, got into the dev, learned a lot of things like front end, back end, and then got into the marketing because I built some product and I had lots of ideas, but I wanted to take to the market. So I learned a lot of things there, and I built one of the portal back then. Actually, it was around 2006, 7. So I built a health portal which got popular, and one of the pharmaceuticals acquire that portal because it was getting traction. So yeah, I was kind of happy. I didn't have a plan, but I was curious to keep learning more, learn more and gain more experience and so on. And I came to Australia for the education. You mentioned laptop and a bag with hope and maybe loans as well. Lots of education loans. And you came to Australia for the education, and I had an opportunity to learn more web technology in master at Macquarie University. So then I got a job, full-time job. I was offered full-time, and the money you need to pay to the university and the money I was going to get from the job could make a significant difference. You can imagine that. I think it was maybe around $34,000 per year, some university fee, and I was offered more double than that for a job. And why would I keep paying for that? So I probably learned a lot of things doing myself, doing experimenting with working with the client, real work, than from uni itself. So then I just dropped out from the uni, then accepted the job, then worked for a couple of years, learned the local market and the businesses and the challenges and everything. Then I went back to my, I guess, the founder entrepreneur hat to start the WP Creative. Why not to just take the risk and jump in and do it? Yeah, yeah, it was quite a journey, fun.
Great stuff. And thank you so much for taking us there. Now, I just want to go back a little bit to, the growing up days in Nepal. What was life like? And sort of like, what sort of education did you get, as a kid growing up? Because obviously it would have been totally different to what you're experiencing now.
100%. I watched one of your videos as well, and that was really inspiring, where you came from. And I was that's the reason I thought, like, why not to chat and just jump into a podcast? Because we share a couple of things, and where you came from. And Nepal is not a different country because it's one of the poorest country as well. And where I grew up, I was literally grew up in a farm with my families, was working hard every day. So that was my childhood, which was tough, and in some ways tough and fun as well, because I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. That was the world, and that was fun. I didn't have a pain, I mean, at that point, if I recall. But if I look back now, which was definitely, I mean, it's kind of nothing. We didn't have any opportunity as well. The education system, nothing was, I guess, the design to compete in international market, I would say, to go out and to compete in, if you just compare that location with the other people and so on, which is fine. It has got its own economy and everything. But if you compare with the international market, definitely I was not built for that. No education, no experience, nothing at all, completely disconnected from the world. So that was the biggest challenge, I guess, from that growing up, that kind of location, that phase, and the opportunities and everything. And now to running a business and in Australia and so on. So I think it was a big leap in many ways, and a lot of grinding. To be honest, it was not easy in many ways, and it's so much suffering, so much pain, so much fails and all these things. But that makes us human, I guess. And that's, I guess, I was curious kid when I was in the farm, and I was curious when I moved to the city and I was learning internet. I did everything from on Google and reading books. I was still a curious kid which is still learning every day. Fundamentally, I'm the same, but definitely there's the gap is a kind of the very huge, comparing Sydney and Nepal.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, there's a tremendous difference right there, and things of that nature. But you did cite that we've got a few parallels and things of that nature. I only got my first computer when I came to Australia. When was your first exposure to a computer?
That was okay. That was interesting. Look, I didn't get opportunity as well. I grew up in a small village, in Nepal, far from the capital city. I didn't touch computer until then. I was 15,
Mm.
and I had to leave my hometown for further education because we didn't have good university college over there. So I had to. I think it was 300 kilometer far from the capital city, and even though it sounds 300 kilometer here, but it takes more than one. I mean, almost one whole day.
Yeah, one full day. I
Because of
can
the road
imagine.
and transportation, you can imagine. So because Nepal is a mountain country anyway. So yeah, it was very, I mean, it looked very far for me. I had to leave my hometown, then move to the city for, I was 15, which was kind of painful in some ways. On your own, figure it out to a different world. But it was a lot of learning. And then I got an opportunity to, actually, it was an interesting one. I was probably like a late teen. It's kind of doing science, and I was curious about a computer, and I was looking into one classified local newspaper, and I saw free computer course. And okay, that's a free computer. And then I went there. I worked, I think it was maybe probably 2, 3 kilometers. I worked there, and then to figure it out, they had a small fee to get to get enrolled, but it was a couple of weeks for free, and I did that, and that was a kind of that's where how I learned computer. And then again, I did for another round, and they didn't like they didn't want me to be there because I was using too much. I was more curious, I guess. Then not profitable kid, I guess. Then another thing I had to do was to learn. I didn't have money to buy computer at all. I mean, in Nepal, and what I did was I had to save pocket money and go to internet cafes. I don't know if it still exists, but we used to have a lot of internet cafes back then where you go and pay half an hour, 1 hour money to use the computer.
Mm.
Yeah, and that was the fun. I mean, that's where I used to save all the pocket money, lunch money, and then go to internet cafe and learn. Take floppy disk, 1.44 MB, whatever, and then download that just to save it. And whenever I get a chance to go to my friend's house or whoever has computer, and just to use that.
Mm. You,
So, and yeah, that was a fun learning experience back then.
Absolutely. I think a lot of internet cafes launched a lot of businesses and launched a lot of people. I remember when I set up my first email address, it was through the help of my cousin. And the first time I went to log in was at an internet cafe, and I didn't even know what to do. There was so much happening on the
I know
Yahoo screen. And I was
exactly.
like,
MSN, Yahoo, and yeah. Yeah, yeah, it was fun. And then another thing I used to do was I used to go to American library. We used to have one American library where they
right.
had computers. We had
Mm,
look, two libraries I can remember. One is American, one is a British one.
mm,
British didn't have much computer computer course books, but American had computer books, and I used to take them home and read, all the computer books and learn from that. So it was a fun. I think looking back now, the time I think we grew up, we didn't have information. It was hard to find information. Now information is everywhere. It was so hard to find along HTML and all these things because you had to literally use so many resources just to find even small information. Go to discussion forum, maybe post something there, Stack
mm.
Overflow. Now you have got so much information, but I don't think it is easier. It's the learning is even harder because how do you filter the noise?
Uh,
Um, because you have got
yeah.
everything there, then it just become analysis, paralysis, whatever, and people I guess it still find challenging, but it's completely opposite of the way we grew up and without information.
Absolutely. I remember looking at a black screen with yellow writing C colon backslash, and then the cursor was just going, and I didn't even know what to do with that.
Yeah,
But obviously,
exactly.
technology has shifted. I mean, you started off downloading websites onto a floppy disk, but now you're, downloading them onto a cloud and things of that nature. It's such a tremendous shift. Now, you've moved continents with, like we mentioned, you came
Yeah.
to Australia with not much, and started from scratch, so to speak. What was that cultural difference like for you when you arrived in Sydney?
That's interesting question. Cultural look, I think one of the important thing I carried from Nepal is because I grew up in a farm. My parents used to work hard and all the time, and they didn't have the resources, and they used to wake up early, like 4 a.m. I still do. I mean, wake up at 4 a.m., which is interesting. They used to wake up early and go to farm and do the work. That's the kind of the hard work and loyalty and resilience. Even if you don't have enough resources, you still have to do it. Do yourself, take the ownership, and all this kind of. That is the thing mindset. I think I still carry here. Cultural shift. Looking back, Nepal, and it's completely different. I mean, the way people talk. I guess we used to trade more time for money. Here, people are more busy. They trade money for time. I guess I'm learning that, getting into that kind of phase as well, valuing your time. So it's a different mindset, completely different mindset, leverage, cost and people, the importance of people's time, and completely different. So yeah, that was, I think, one of the biggest shock as well. And look, to be honest, from financial point of view as well, even if you look at Kathmandu city, which is the capital city of Nepal, which is I think one of the cheapest city in the world, and Sydney is one of the most expensive. And I
It's
think I was
expensive.
reading that in back in 2012 when I came here, Kathmandu was in the lowest five, I think, and Sydney was the top five. And it's like, okay, then look at that.
Mhm.
How does your brain work? To calculate the thing that the food,
Mm,
the lunch, and everything is completely so it was a big shift. I think it took some time for
mm.
me to my brain to understand that work, find a workaround.
Absolutely. You see, I can relate to that. When I came here, I was coming from a place with big inflation. So we literally had a
Oh
million
yeah,
dollar,
yeah,
we literally had $1 million note. So when I was spending $50, for me, it didn't sound like a lot of money.
yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
think that is the one of the confusion for your brain to figure it out. I think we have the same, but not the exactly same, like the same, but the similar. Is how do you calculate? Your brain tries to like translate that into money. How much it is gonna cost for coffee? Like $3. What does that mean in my currency? And how much I used to pay for that? When I was there and for coffee. And okay, this is expensive. This is cheap. Whatever. And nothing was cheap here. So yeah, it was I think it was a lot of processing, mental processing for many years.
absolutely. And also, I mean, obviously, having to speak in a language that's not yours, and you're trying to be in a
Understand
place
that
that's not yours, the whole time difference. There's a lot that goes in
a
there. But
lot.
obviously, you went on, landed on your feet, did the learning that you're supposed to doing. But before WP Creative, you were in like digital agencies for like almost a decade, which gave you a bit of runway, to learn the ropes and actually figure out before you go out on your own. But what was the moment that you realized, now I needed to leap and build something of my own?
When I started the web design development first time when I started exploring internet, I found look this is really empowering for me because I came from a farm and kind of grew up in a farm. So I thought look this is a big opportunity. I could literally build a website, go public, do something, build on my own. That was that felt really empowering to me. Then I did like a lot of development, trying different things and doing marketing. I think that's the kind of the DNA I had. I wanted to build something, figure it out myself. The fun of building something, getting out to the market, doing the testing. So that was the mindset I had, even though I was working for companies, but I still had that going on 24/7 in my head. Like I want to do something, I want to build something. Um, One of the challenges when I built my first initial product was go to the market to make it commercially viable, successful, which was biggest challenge, even though it was acquired by a pharmaceutical company, which is I was lucky for that. But at the same time, I could see the challenges I went through that. And I think I wanted to build a business that can run, that can be self-manageable, which I was curious about. And I wanted to gain the experience working for clients. And so I did start as a designer, and then worked for another as a developer, and then worked on until CTO. And then I thought like, this is the time I want to jump in. I want to take risks because this is what I wanted to do all the time. I think this is the time. Even though I mean nothing is perfect, no timing is perfect. You have to take the risk and kind of jump out and do your own. Yeah, I realized like this is the time. I don't want to keep doing this. I don't want to sacrifice my dream and ambition. Then I had a chat with my wife and we had a chat. We went on a road trip as well. We talked about it. Even though we had like $18,000 or some loan, I thought, like, let's do it together. And yeah, then never looked back.
Wow, 18,000 in debt. I mean, obviously that comes with sleepless nights and, everybody they're calling and saying, "Hey, where's our money?" Was there a
I know.
particular was there a particular day that you thought, I might have been in over my head here. This is a little bit too much than I bargained for.
I would say pretty much every day.
Mm,
Every day we were going through that phase because like the initial when you start a business is definitely not easy. You go through, I mean, unless you got lucky, you go through that down phase, you go through that ups and down. I think I had a kind of a death of valley situation um, which I'm glad I survived, which was very challenging. We went through lots of challenges, up and down, up and down. But I guess the goal ambition was a lot bigger than those challenges. I was not ready to give up. I never thought about even giving up, even though we went through that challenge pretty much. For initial couple of years was really painful.
Mm,
But I never thought about going back because I didn't have a plan B. I never thought
mm.
about plan B. I only had a plan A, like this is what I want to do. So yeah, that was the metric of success, I guess. I mean, my definition.
Oh, absolutely. Now, obviously, coming to the sort of work that you're doing, because you're helping marketing teams move faster, execute better, and also turn websites into real growth engines. What's one misconception about building websites for marketing that you obviously love to debunk? Because so many people think, oh, I've got a cousin in IT, they know how to put a website together. I can put a website together on weeks or something. There's already a template that I can just do. All I just need to change is my logo and my phone number.
Yeah, no, that's so true. Like many people try. That's why DIY platform is really popular as well. People can build on their own whatever they want. They can do a lot of experiment. But at the same time, when you're serious about business, when website is the mission critical to run the business, to drive the revenue, to get the lead, to get the clients, then you don't want to take risk. It's your asset. It's your investment. So you want to get most out of it. I think that's where we come in from WP Creative to help the marketing teams get the most out of their website, to go faster. Marketing teams that I would say more on the growth mode, who wants to rescaling and want to do execute faster, want to get most out of their marketing spending. That's where you need an expert to figure it out, what is working, what is not working, what does your audience want, because there are so many things into that, from the design, look and feel, the impression of your brand, to the day, to the SEO, to the landing page, to the funnel, and so you can't be a master of that, and without working with the expert, you're just kind of playing, throwing in the dark.
You see, when people start these agencies, some web agencies just know how to code, the HTML side of things. And obviously, then there's the back end of the website, the functionality, the bells and whistles that you are talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
And then there's also some people who just know about strategy and they don't quite know the actual intricacies of how to make things work. If this then that, if you press this button, this is what is actually going to happen. But you are branding yourself as a mark tech, a WordPress
Architects, yeah.
team that actually blends marketing vision and technical precision. Could you just walk us through what that is and why anybody should care?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Look, I think that comes back from my background as well. I started as a designer. I thought like design was the most important thing. Then I realized without the dev, without building it, like it's nothing. You need to build it, make it functional. Then I learned the front end, back end, learned the dev. And then I realized I can build it now. I can design and I can build it. But if no one can find it, and what's the point? It doesn't exist at all. It is just for you. Then I understood. Then I jumped into the marketing, and I learned a lot of that, how to go to the market, and how to build a product and make it viable, and get those customer and so on. Then my startup was acquired by a pharmaceutical company. So that's the kind of background I bring, and that's the kind of the whole DNA of building WP Creative. There are so many dev agencies out there, really good programmer, really good developer, really good companies, software app companies, but they only care about making functional. And there are so many creative agencies, branding agencies that we have worked with as well. I know they're really good at making really look nice, fancy thing, but and there are marketing agencies as well. There is a kind of a big gap between those agencies. Dev gets the dev, marketing gets the marketing. They don't get the code, and that's where we sit in the middle. We understand the both world, the design, dev, and the marketing. That's where our positioning is, and we support the marketing teams around that, because marketing agencies already bring that technical, like marketing knowledge, but they don't have the technical knowledge to execute. They don't even have the design knowledge to. They know what does the good design look like, what does the bad design look like, but they need support to execute. So we come in that kind of sit in the middle. We work as an extension of marketing teams. in-house marketing team, supporting them on the design day marketing, bringing our strategical, the executional kind of hat to support them do faster, move faster, so they don't have to worry about where the site's going to go down, or is it loading now, is it slowing down, or where are we losing customer, where are we losing our money and ad and so on. That's a big part, and that's what we target mostly the mid market, where companies investing money into the marketing, which is important, mission critical for them. And we come in, we make it, even 1% is small change, that's a big impact for them.
I like that because, if we just want the audience to actually have an understanding of what we're talking about, let's maybe put an example of a car. Some cars have the best engine, but they don't look well on the outside. And some have got the most comfortable seats, but the engine is, yeah, you have to keep tinkering with it. You know what I mean? But what you're
Yeah.
bringing to the table is a car that is purely designed for speed, comfort, and the looks and everything else that comes along with it, which really makes it competitive in the marketplace there. And yeah, so this is why you actually really focused on continuous improvement, right? You even moved away from redesigning to actual, incremental growth. What sort of lessons have you then, or insights do you bring with the kind of work that you're doing? Because from what I now understand, your websites fuel growth, they don't fight it.
Yeah, that's really good point. I have seen lots of businesses who has invested a lot of money, $100,000, $200,000 to build a site, fancy site, but no one can use it. They don't know whether it's working or not. Looks fancy, but it doesn't reflect the brand and so on. And no one wants to do this because unless it comes from the management, they want to look refreshed, they have got a budget and so on. Marketing, it takes so much time to do it. There's so many stakeholders involved. Marketing team already has got so many things going on. They have got their own KPIs, and then on top of that, they need to do the whole thing, which is going to take probably 6 months to execute and so on. So that's where our positioning is. We don't recommend doing that. That's the complete opposite of what we do. What we do is, rather than building a investing $200,000, $100,000 on a hypothesis that it's going to work. This is what our audience want. Why not to do like iterative improvement, continuous improvement every month, make a change on the one homepage, landing page, and do the A/B testing, see what is going to work, what does people want, and what is working, what is not working. It's more on the data-led approach where we look into the data, what is working, what is not working, and go back and execute that. And that is, you can quickly see that improvement within a month. We can look into those we call it low hanging fruit, quick wins. We always look at that in the first month. What are the pages that are important for us from SEO point of view? Maybe from another meta ad point of view, what are the landing pages you're running? Where are the customers coming? We look into that, what is working, and then see what are the things we can quickly improve. Could be the performance, could be the loading time. Let's say if you're getting 10,000 traffic per month, the site is loading at 5 seconds, and you bring that down to 3 seconds, 2 seconds, maybe 1 second. We try to push harder. It makes a big impact. You're investing a lot of money into that. So we look at those small things. We have got an audit checklist. Go through that. What are the quick wins we can do? And then we try to make that impact within first month. So our customer, they will see quickly within 1 month, 2 months, oh, these are the changes that are happening. And at the same time, what we do is rest of the things we put that into the roadmap. 12 months roadmap. Look, this is the thing we're going to do in the 3 months, 6 months down the line. So we have got a clear roadmap what client has a wish list they wanted to do for a long time. Rather than investing so much money and doing the redesign and build one go, we say, like, why not to follow that iterative agile way? And marketing has to be agile as well. Everyone keeps talking about agile, but they go back in waterfall kind of building one, investing so much money into a project which is rarely successful in many ways. So yeah, that's our care plan. That's our growth plan is to support businesses and the marketing teams.
Absolutely. I like when you mentioned that, when it comes to marketing, there's so many people that want to contribute, many stakeholders, which means other people come with their own preferences, with their experience, and some people just want things done their own way. And, some people might actually think WordPress is now an outdated technology,
Yeah.
and it's become slow. And if you had looked in the past, it's just been in and out of courts. They don't quite know whether they're an org or they're a .com and everything else that comes along with it. How do you challenge that notion today because you are always strong that you turn these WordPress websites into a marketing engine?
Um, yeah, one of the that's one of the challenges. I guess your question is more about the how do you challenge the design and build that people want to look at fancy and so on. Yeah, we always look at the data approach and what are the goals they want to do, what are the KPIs they have got in the 3 months, 6 months down the line, and what are the business goal, what are the top level goal and the bottom goal and all these things. We look into that and see what are the priorities, and we set the priorities and just kind of execute. So it's a kind of a done with you offer where we collaborate together and offer that, just set the priorities together, work with them rather than just working in silos.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, along your journey, you've actually managed to build quite a strong team, but you had to sort of let go of some of them and, reposition yourself. But that was strategic in the way that you did it. What was the breaking point and what actually did you learn or what changed after that?
Yeah, we have got, I think, around 27 people right now in total. We started, I mean, with two. Um, One of the things I learned along the way is setting the culture was the most important thing, setting our values, what we really believe in, how we make decisions, what are the principles we follow and how we work. That was one of the things we did in the early days. I had a one coach mentor. We worked with them work with him for some time. And that is, I think, our in from hiring to retaining to everything, we follow those values. And based on that, we make decisions. I mean, hiring, firing, letting someone go. Because if someone is not a fit for WP Creative, they will suffer eventually anyway. So we have to make those tough decisions sometimes, but which is eventually good for, the person who is not a fit, and then for the rest of the team and clients and everyone. So yeah, that's a part of I think the painful part of running a business, which you
Mm,
have to make. You have to be critical sometimes and make decision. Otherwise, you will just kind of yeah, create problem for the rest of the family members.
absolutely. I mean, obviously, there's always people involved, especially even though we're talking about technology and marketing and things of that nature now. Are there any maybe success stories or a story that really, really stuck with you, which kept you going, knowing that what you're doing really matters? Because if we're doing work that matters for people who care, it really keeps us going and keeps moving us forward.
Yeah, 100%. I think there are many things from the business point of view. I think I can look at the client side of things as well. I talk to probably 100 plus marketing teams every year, who is frustrated with the agencies, full service freelancer could be, who is promising anything, and they either are good at marketing or good at dev, but they can't do both. And I mean, they can't execute, but they just kind of want to keep the client. So we help those, seeing those marketing teams who is going through the stress, burnout, helping them, being the support person there to give the peace of mind, take the full ownership of Wave, which gives the peace of mind for them so they can go and work, do the focus on their craft and marketing things, which is empowering in many ways. The many people appreciate that, how fast we are, how supportive we are, how friendly we are, how much we take the extreme ownership of those kind of things. That's the one impact I can see making the marketing teams. The second one is the team as well. We have got a really good friendly and supportive culture. We have got probably most of the team member is working with us 6 7 years, 5 6 years, 7 8 years. So that's I guess the fun part, supporting them. And I've got a team in the Kathmandu, Nepal, where I grew up. Support my team, uh, the country, and which is, yeah, makes me feel good.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, what you do is help people have less WordPress stress and more marketing success. So, if people are looking to maybe connect with you, find out a little bit more about how you can help them have this less stress, where can they go to on the internet?
I would recommend go to our website WP Creative, and we offer free audit as well. That is something we offer to marketing teams because they don't most of the time they don't know whether the site is secure, whether the site is built with the fundamental and so on. They have got so many questions around that. We always say, look, yeah, I'm happy to audit for free. We look into the back end and offer some, the suggestions, what has to be done, what is the quick wins, and so on. They can go to WP Creative, just the .com.au, click on the contact form. Yes, send us the details. We'll look into that and do a free audit for them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And definitely I'll be putting those links in the show notes so that people can get started on that journey with you. But Nirmal, when we started, you introduced us to this young kid going to internet shops and didn't know anything about the world that you went on and created. And now you're sitting at the cusp of you helping so many other businesses here in Australia that are touching so many lives. If you would look back and give that little boy some advice, what would you tell him, knowing what you know now about life?
That's a really good question to reflect back, and I haven't thought about it. I would say, look, I would say don't worry too much about future.
Mm.
Looking at what is possible, just keep doing what you love and just be curious. I guess don't I guess let your values and your curiosity go. Just keep working wherever you feel, I guess, connected and empowering. That's what I would say. Don't worry too much about the future.
Absolutely. You see, you started off with floppy disks, and now everything is now being stored in the cloud. You see, I'm in Melbourne, and we never talk about the weather, but today is a bit overcast, so I don't even know which cloud has got any of my data. So,
That's like that. That's a funny way to.
where do you see technology and websites going? I hear we're not going to have any phone interfaces, so maybe. Do you think websites are still going to be a thing that we use in the future?
That is really good topic. I was thinking about that. I think things will change. Things have changed in the past as well. Technology definitely changed. Look, down the line in the long run, maybe there won't be website anymore because we don't need it. Because the way we use website, like there will be AI, there will be bot, there will be system, there will be APIs, there will be MCP server, whatever that is going to be. They will use the system we interact with. I guess the device we want to interact with. So yet things will change 100% because the way it is working is definitely not the most efficient way, and that's the good part of human being. We always want to find out what is the efficient way, what is the easy way to access the information. Website has been one of the medium to get the information out. So but that is not going to happen. It's not going to change the user experience within like maybe next decade. It's going to take a long time. It's like cars. Can you build flying cars? Yeah, yes, you can, but it's going to take time. So, and people are working on that as well. I think that's going to change. It takes some time to change the experience, but things are changing. Things are happening right now. I go to ChatGPT and I can ask all the information. Why do I need to go to website? But I do now to validate that ChatGPT is just saying the right thing because I don't trust it. I can't 100% trust that AI thing right now. So we go and do the kind of bottom of the funnel, looking to the web. Yes, this is valid. Are they legit? Do they look nice? Do they look professional? Do they reflect what they do? Do they have a team? What do they offer? How much do they charge? What does the product look like? What is the service? We still do. We don't get those answers in a clear way, the way we want it, with the trust from the AI. I guess that's gonna change. That's the next boom. I'm excited to see as well at the same time and navigate that as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, obviously, you're somebody who's already at the cusp and at the top of your game. You've introduced us to us. Now we're very big fans. What are we going to expect in the future that you're working on that we can also celebrate with you as you grow?
Thank you. Look, we have been using a lot of AI internally and trying to support the team as well, because one of the important thing for businesses and marketing teams is the way people used to search on Google is going to change. That's one of the biggest challenges everyone is trying to navigate to, because we're now used to asking on ChatGPT and AI. So that is another thing, big thing we're working on, LLM, how to just optimize your business for that. That's the thing. I mean, there are so many other technical things we've been working on in the background to support our clients and team as well to make life easier. Yeah, I'll definitely be sharing those outcomes and how we navigate that as well.
Absolutely. Wow. What a ride. Thank you so much, Nirmal, for taking us through. I mean, your life story and your experience have got so much value for even that one kid in Nepal who might not have a role model. They might actually look up to you and say, hey, if a person that comes from where I come from has been in the same streets I've been, if they can do it, so can I. And as you know, representation matters. So keep doing what you're doing. And I really appreciate you being on the show with us today.
Yeah, thank you. No, I 100% agree with that. Yeah, that's a fun journey, and it was great chatting with you.
Absolutely. What a ride. I mean, this conversation with the mount, if it touched the hearts of those that are really wanting to aspire to be more and have more, then I think we've done our job. I mean, from moving countries, running on passion instead of steam, turning websites into life growth machines, and actually just keep staying grounded while learning and building with care. Now, if this isn't like a scene out of a new Netflix series, then I don't know what they're creating out there. And if you obviously were tuned in today, thank you so much for choosing the Online Prosperity Show, for grabbing and gaining information like this. And if you tuned in today and felt like, yep, I've been stuck on maybe a half built site and I'm overwhelmed by complexity, then I think you know where to go. Check out WP Creative, and they will be able to help you out. And I'll put all those links in the show notes below. Or if you know somebody who's stuck with a website, or could it be your boss or somebody that you love, share it with them, because they need to turn their digital presence into something that actually works for them, not just anything that looks good. And I think the team at WP Creative will be able to help with that. So obviously, thank you so much once again for joining the Online Prosperity Show. And I can't wait to see what you're going to be doing with this information. Until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and keep growing. Bye for now.